ChatGPT's 42-signal AI XRP price forecast flags violent swing pre-SEC ruling. Ripple. XRP. XRP Price Prediction. Add disclosure. Add disclosure. We believe in full transparency with our readers. Some of our content includes affiliate links, and we may earn a commission through these partnerships. However, this potential compensation never influences our analysis, opinions, or reviews. Our editorial content is created independently of our marketing partnerships, and our ratings are based solely on our established evaluation criteria. Read more. Add disclosure. Add disclosure. We believe in full transparency with our readers. Some of our content includes affiliate links, and we may earn a commission through these partnerships. However, this potential compensation never influences our analysis, opinions, or reviews. Our editorial content is created independently of our marketing partnerships, and our ratings are based solely on our established evaluation criteria. Read more. Author. Trent Alan. Author. Trent Alan. About author. Trent has a background and education in journalism and communications, with 2 decades of experience editing and writing on a diverse array of topics. In recent years, however, he has shifted his author profile. Share. Copied. Add disclosure. Add disclosure. We believe in full transparency with our readers. Some of our content includes affiliate links, and we may earn a commission through these partnerships. However, this potential compensation never influences our analysis, opinions, or reviews. Our editorial content is created independently of our marketing partnerships, and our ratings are based solely on our established evaluation criteria. Read more. Last updated 4 hours ago. Why trust Cryptonews? Cryptonews has covered the cryptocurrency industry topics since 2017, aiming to provide informative insights to our readers. Our journalists and analysts have extensive experience in market analysis and blockchain technologies. We strive to maintain high editorial standards, focusing on factual accuracy and balanced reporting across all areas, from cryptocurrencies and blockchain projects to industry events, products, and technological developments. Our ongoing presence in the industry reflects our commitment to delivering relevant information in the evolving world of digital assets. Read more about Cryptonews. Disclaimer: crypto is a high-risk asset class. This article is provided for informational purposes and does not constitute investment advice. You could lose all of your capital. ChatGPT's o3 Pro AI model just crunched 42 live indicators, ranging from TradingView stats and Binance order book flows to social media buzz and news, and came up with a surprise XRP price prediction as the token holds $2.20 ahead of a June 16th SEC verdict and a looming $500 million corporate reserve. With volatility squeezed to its narrowest band of 2025, o3 Pro pegs $2.25 as the pivot between a vault toward $2.60 and a fall to $2.10. Daily turnover still tops $2.6 billion, but sentiment splits down the middle as traders brace for the ruling. The following analysis was done using ChatGPT's most advanced AI model, the new o3 Pro, and edited together and humanized for readability. Overview: AI XRP price prediction and analysis. After opening the day closer to $2.33, a retreat masks a far more intriguing setup beneath the surface. Market depth remains intact, yet key momentum gauges, namely an RSI just above 40 and a negative MACD crossover, suggest traders have throttled back on risk. Meanwhile, volatility indicators are flashing amber. As one TradingView readout notes, the narrowing Bollinger envelope warns of a possible volatility expansion. Compression phases like this typically precede forceful directional moves, turning the next 90 days into a high-stakes window. The fundamental backdrop is equally charged. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse has asserted that XRP could capture 14% of Swift's volume in the next 5 years, a claim arriving just days before the anticipated June 16th ruling in the long-running SEC case. Layer in the first-ever $500 million corporate XRP reserve, the launch of USDC and Ripple's own forthcoming Rust stablecoin on the XRP ledger, and a steady 111,000 active addresses per day, and the ledger suddenly looks busier and potentially scarcer than headline prices imply. With technicals coiling, on-chain participation climbing, and sentiment oscillating between cautious and exuberant, XRP's immediate path hinges on which signal breaks first. Technical pulse: XRP price forecast hinges on compressed indicators. The latest daily chart shows XRP wedged into the tightest Bollinger Band spread since February, implying that the market has settled into a holding pattern. Source: TradingView. Momentum signals confirm the lull. The relative strength index lingers near 41, a level that rarely sparks trend-defining moves, while the MACD histogram hovers just below zero after a bearish crossover. Traders are also watching a flat EMA cluster between the 50 and 100-day averages around $2.26 to $2.27. Historically a zone where price rallies stall if volume fails to expand. RSI below 50 but above oversold keeps momentum neutral rather than outright bearish. MACD line sits beneath its signal line, hinting at latent downside pressure. Average true range at 0.0126 points to intraday swings of barely 1%. An unusually quiet tape for XRP. Volume-weighted moving average, VWMA 20, turns marginally higher, suggesting selective accumulation, even as classic EMAs flash sell. A prolonged squeeze like this typically resolves in a sharp break. Volatility gauges alone, however, cannot predict the direction. That job falls to the nearby price structure and order flow signals. Key support and resistance guide Ripple volatility outlook. Technicians currently place first-line support at $2.20 to $2.23, just above the classic pivot S1 of $2.2208. Beneath that band sits a broader demand zone stretching to $2.10, an area that twice capped downside attempts in April. Upside, the initial barrier stands at $2.2446. Classic pivot R1, followed quickly by the recent swing high supply pocket at $2.33 to $2.34. A clean break above $2.24 would realign price with the Bollinger midband at $2.39, opening room toward $2.60 should volume accompany the move. Failure to defend $2.20 risks a slide to the lower Bollinger Band near $1.87. The flattened EMA 5100 pair at $2.26 acts as a pivot. Daily closes on either side often dictate the next week's trend. Low ATR implies that once price escapes this range, the first directional burst is likely to be swift, and amplified by traders front-running the SEC's mid-June ruling. For now, XRP's technical canvas paints a picture of potential energy. Tightly coiled, evenly balanced, and primed to spring once a catalyst, be it legal clarity or an unexpected macro jolt, tips the scale. Liquidity and market depth. Can bulls fund the next XRP price forecast move? Deep order books and capital inflow. A robust $128.50 billion market cap and a fully diluted valuation of $224 billion give XRP some of the deepest books outside Bitcoin and Ether. Source: CoinMarketCap. The pair trades most actively on Binance Spot Market, where aggregated bids and asks routinely absorb 8-figure orders without visible slippage, a key buffer if Ripple volatility spikes after the SEC ruling. 24-hour turnover, $2.61 billion, translating to roughly 2% of circulating market cap and indicating healthy day-to-day liquidity. 7-day turnover, $18.24 billion, evidence that capital has remained engaged even as prices drifted lower. Classic pivot calculations place the session's volume-weighted point of control just above $2.23, showing buyers remain active near short-term support. A rising volume-weighted moving average, VWMA 20, shows steady accumulation beneath the flat EMA cluster. Taken together, these figures suggest that large players can confidently scale positions, long or short, without fear of thin books distorting entries, a prerequisite for any meaningful XRP price forecast over the next quarter. Volume patterns show tactical accumulation. While absolute volume has eased from late May peaks, its composition has shifted toward spot rather than derivatives, a nuance that often precedes directional trend changes. Coupled with narrowing price ranges, the data implies traders are positioning quietly rather than chasing momentum. Spot markets now account for a growing share of total turnover, a sign that leverage is being dialed back ahead of the SEC decision. 24-hour volume remains well above the 90-day median, illustrating sustained interest despite muted price action. Liquidity nodes on depth charts cluster between $2.15 to $2.25, suggesting any dip toward that band could be met with sizable resting bids. Should volume spike in tandem with a close above $2.33, historical analogs point to follow-through potential toward the mid-$2.60s. In short, the current blend of deep order books and selective spot accumulation provides the raw fuel for a breakout. Yet without a volatility trigger, the market continues to tread water. The next sections will examine whether on-chain metrics and social sentiment can supply that missing spark. XRP's on-chain activity, real utility or just talk? Daily ledger usage points to sticky demand. Even as Ripple volatility has cooled on price charts, network throughput remains vigorous. About 111,000 active addresses interact with the XRP ledger each day, well above the 2024 weekly average, suggesting that traders and developers are not merely parking tokens but actively moving value and deploying apps. Active addresses hold steady despite the recent 4% price pullback, indicating user stickiness. Transaction clusters align with stablecoin minting events, hinting at growing DeFi experimentation. Persistent usage during sideways price action contrasts with many altchains, where activity often decays alongside volume. The consistency implies that underlying demand may be stronger than surface price action lets on, reducing the odds of a sudden liquidity vacuum if volatility spikes. Fresh catalysts could tighten XRP's tradable float. Utility-driven flows are set to expand further. Singapore-based Trident Digital has announced a $500 million corporate XRP reserve, the first of its scale, while Flare's integration commits $100 million in XRP to cross-chain smart contract use. At the same time, stablecoin competition on XRPL is heating up. USDC has gone live, and Ripple's own Relust is preparing to launch. Large-scale reserve holdings indicate that institutions now treat XRP as a strategic treasury asset, not just a speculative trade. Flare's deployment effectively locks tokens into smart contract ecosystems, lowering circulating supply on exchanges. Every USDC or Relust transfer requires XRP for fees, embedding reflexive token demand into stablecoin growth. Combined, these initiatives could exert upward pressure on price by reducing the float just as macro-level catalysts, like a potential SEC ruling, arrive. Taken together, on-chain metrics paint a picture of genuine, expanding utility, suggesting that any forthcoming surge in XRP price forecasts will rest on more than hype alone. XRP social metrics, a cautiously bullish Ripple volatility gauge. Lunar Crush's sentiment dashboards put hard numbers on XRP's social mood, and the latest readout tilts only modestly positive. The token's Galaxy score of 56 sits just above the neutral midpoint, while an alt rank of 173 places it in the middle of the pack among tracked assets. Source: Lunar Crush. Even so, raw engagement remains formidable. 10.04 million interactions over 24 hours demonstrate an audience that rarely stays quiet when catalysts emerge. Galaxy score greater than 50 indicates a mild bullish bias, but not the euphoric conditions that often precede sharp reversals. Mid-tier alt rank suggests XRP is neither the hottest trade nor an ignored laggard, ideal for a breakout if fresh news lands. Engagement volume supports liquidity. Active social chatter tends to correlate with tighter spreads on major exchanges. Historical comparisons show that Galaxy scores above 60, coupled with rising engagements, often precede multi-week rallies, a threshold XRP has not yet crossed. For traders, these numbers imply sentiment is constructive but far from frothy, leaving room for the XRP price forecast to pivot sharply once decisive news reshapes the narrative. Social media chatter, high-stakes storylines drive attention. Outside aggregated scores, headlines, and Twitter traffic reveal the storylines animating the community. In the past 4 hours alone, coverage has swung from bullish adoption talk to warnings of deepening bearish bets. XRP to capture 14% of Swift's volume. Trumpets Bitcoinist, citing CEO Brad Garlinghouse just 34 minutes ago. Bean crypto counters with XRP price slips as bears tighten grip and short bets surge, revealing trader caution 3 hours prior. FX Street frames the macro picture. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP risk further decline amid softer volumes. For hours back, Twitter amplifies the stakes. Good Morning Crypto flags a $500 million corporate XRP reserve, calling it breaking. Moonlumbo hails USDC's launch on XRPL as incredible news for all $XRP holders, arguing it will lift total value locked and fee demand. Kraken Exchange stirs the XRP army with a watchful emoji, showing exchange-side interest in a potential volatility spike. Collectively, this blend of measured optimism and bearish hedging keeps sentiment balanced, fertile ground for a surprise move once the SEC's ruling or another headline forces consensus one way or the other. Until then, Ripple volatility remains coiled not only on price charts but also in the social sphere, ready to unwind when conviction finally takes hold. Regulatory wildcard, SEC countdown and its ripple effect. The legal saga that has shadowed XRP since late 2020 is now on a 5-day fuse. Court dockets list June 16th as the next, and potentially final milestone in the SEC's enforcement action against Ripple Labs. At stake is whether XRP will be deemed a security under U.S. law, a designation that could limit exchange listings and institutional access. Conversely, a favorable ruling would cement the token's commodity-like status and pave the way for broader U.S. adoption. The decision lands just as corporate treasuries experiment with a $500 million XRP reserve and stablecoin issuers migrate onto the ledger, multiplying the impact of any legal clarity. Possible verdict paths and market repercussions. Outright win for Ripple. XRP escapes the securities label, inviting major U.S. exchanges and brokerage apps to restore full trading pairs. Price action tends to accelerate on relief. A clean break above $2.33 to $2.34 could target the mid-$2.60s, the next liquidity shelf. Positive precedent could spill over to other payment-focused altcoins, tightening spreads and boosting sector flows. Partial victory/settlement. A negotiated middle ground may include a penalty without labeling ongoing sales as securities. Markets likely cheer limited retroactive risk, but upside could stall near the Bollinger midband at $2.39 until precise terms emerge. Should fines drain Ripple's treasury less than feared, strategic buybacks or ecosystem grants could follow, supporting demand. SEC prevails. Security status forces delistings on U.S. venues. Offshore liquidity dominates. Initial support at $2.20 may fail, exposing the broader demand zone down to $2.10. Elevated legal uncertainty for comparable tokens could widen risk spreads across the market, amplifying Ripple volatility. Regardless of outcome, the decision is set to trigger a volatility burst far exceeding the 0.0126 ATR baseline, echoing previous litigation-driven price swings. Traders accustomed to XRP's current quiet tape should brace for order book whipsaws and slippage as algorithms race to reprice regulatory risk within seconds of the ruling. 3-month XRP price outlook, scenarios and key levels. Base case, range-bound chop dominates. With structural compression still unresolved and no verdict yet from Washington, the most probable path calls for sideways trade inside a broad $2.10 to $2.60 corridor. Technical cues lean cautiously bearish, RSI sub 50, MACD under its signal, but neither indicator points to capitulation, while on-chain utility steadily soaks up float. Price faces initial resistance at $2.24, pivoter 1, and primary supply at $2.33 to $2.34. Support sits at $2.20, reinforced by resting bids and a liquidity node clustered on depth charts. Flattened EMA 50/100 pair near $2.26 functions as a fulcrum. Closes above tilt momentum bullish, below tilt bearish. Expected daily range per ATR 14 remains about 1% until a catalyst widens the bands. This base case envisions choppy action punctuated by brief spikes, rewarding short timeframe traders more than trend followers. Breakout triggers and risk factors. Directional conviction hinges on a handful of clear catalysts. A decisive SEC ruling, expanding stablecoin flows, or a macro risk surge could all snap the current coil, dictating whether bulls or bears seize control. Bullish catalysts. Ripple victory in court immediate relisting on U.S. venues, targeting the Bollinger midband at $2.39 and the $2.60 extension. Sustained rise in active addresses plus Flare's $100 million integration constrict tradable supply. Galaxy score moves above 60 alongside engagement spikes, echoing prior breakout regimes. Bearish catalysts. Security classification forces exchange withdrawals, pressuring $2.20 and exposing $2.10 support. Broader crypto sell-off drags turnover below the 90-day median, widening spreads, and drying liquidity. Negative macro sentiment, higher yields or dollar strength, dampens risk appetite across digital assets. Whichever narrative gains traction, the first close outside the present Bollinger squeeze is likely to set the tone for the full 90-day horizon, transforming today's Ripple volatility stalemate into a decisive trend. XRP price forecast. Converging signals, singular moment. Across charts, ledgers, and social feeds, one theme keeps surfacing. Compression. Price is hemmed in by a Bollinger Squeeze. On-chain supply is thinning as smart contract projects and corporate treasuries ring-fence tokens, and sentiment sits in a low-heat equilibrium that can flip bullish or bearish on a single headline. That confluence is rare, and it matters because the market is fast approaching an inflection point where legal clarity, liquidity depth, and genuine network demand will either reinforce each other or collide. Traders who treat the next 90 days as a data-rich stress test rather than a coin flip gamble stand to glean sharper edges. Watching whether the post-verdict move holds above $2.34 or breaks below $2.20. Measuring if active addresses keep rising when volatility erupts. Tracking whether Galaxy scores climb as volume returns. In short, Ripple volatility is no longer just noise on a candlestick chart. It is the distillation of regulatory risk, real-world utility, and crowd conviction. How those forces resolve will set the tone not only for XRP but for the broader conversation about what gives a digital asset durable value in the first place. Follow us on Google News, Trending News, Recommended Popular Crypto Topics Price Predictions. How Tether co-founder William Quigley views crypto regulations in Trump's second term. Trump appoints PayPal veteran David Sachs as White House AI and crypto czar. XRP price prediction. Ripple's Wall Street deal with Guggenheim sparks $100 target speculation. Leading AI, Claude, predicts the price of Ethereum, Cardano, and XRP by end of 2025. Which crypto aggregator platforms to watch in 2025? Industry talk. XRP price prediction. Ripple CEO Garlinghouse says XRP could power $21 trillion in SWIFT transfers. $1,000 XRP possible? 7 hours ago. By Simon Chandler. Altcoin news. Serial investor Gary Cardone slams XRP as Ripple aligns with Europe on digital euro project. 2 days ago. By Amin Ayan. Price analysis. Bitcoin price prediction. $200,000 target in sight amid Trump and Japan tailwinds. 2 days ago. By Arslan Butt. Best crypto to buy now in June 2025. Top crypto to invest in. May 6, 2025. By Alan Draper. Best new crypto coins to invest in 2025. Top new cryptocurrencies. May 6, 2025. By Inesis Tavares. 13 best crypto presales to invest in 2025. Upcoming token sales. March 3, 2025. By Alan Draper. 12 new and upcoming Coinbase listings in June 2025. April 13, 2025. By Elijah Rankovich. 13 new and upcoming Binance listings in 2025. May 5, 2025. By Inesis Tavares. What is the next crypto to explode in 2025? September 11, 2024. By Elijah Rankovich. Bitcoin, BTC, Price Prediction 2025 to 2030. October 19, 2024. By Leon Waters. Ripple, XRP, Price Prediction 2025, 2026 to 2030. August 28, 2024. By Eric Huffman. Ethereum Price Prediction 2025 to 2030. Will ETH bounce back? August 28, 2024. By Ben Beto.